Hi everyone, this is Rabbi Garfinkel, and I got a few requests for the Cliff Notes of Purim. So we're going to start with the story and then move to the practical how-tos of the Purim holiday itself. So over 2,300 years ago, there was King Achashverosh who ruled the entire Persian Empire all the way from Ethiopia to India. And in the third year of his reign, after he consolidated his monarchy, he threw a huge party that lasted, 180 days. The reason for this party was not only to consolidate his reign, but also to celebrate the fact that the Jewish people had been forgotten by God. There was a prophecy that the Jewish people would return 70 years after the temple was destroyed, and according to Achashverosh's faulty calculations, it actually had come. So you imagine the Jewish people were invited to this party, and Mordechai, the hero of our story, or one of them, says, "Don't go." Unfortunately, the Jews made the decision to go. They had this party. It turns out that King Achashverosh had a little bit of fight with his wife Vashti, who was not such a nice lady, and the granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar, who had destroyed the first temple. Okay, he calls Vashti in, and she says, "No, I will not come." Turns out, the commentator says she was actually very happy to come. Just so happened that what happened? She got a case of pimples, and therefore she was embarrassed to come. Haman, one of the advisors of the king, decides that Achashverosh should kill Vashti, and guess what? Achashverosh listens to him. A crazy, ridiculous piece of advice. Turns out that there's a job opening in the palace. There's a massive beauty contest searching all 127 lands for the most beautiful women. Now, what are the odds of being chosen for that, right? Okay, guess what? Esther was chosen to be a contestant. Esther, our heroine of the story, turns out not only to be a contestant, but she wins and becomes queen. Now, she is queen for 5 years, sitting on the throne wondering why are bad things happen to good people, because she's married to the equivalent of Saddam Hussein. Okay, nice Jewish girl. It's like shuddering thought to even think about that. This is not some dramatic, romantic Hollywood movie. She is not thrilled about this. 5 years later, Haman rises to ascendancy as the second in command. He is very upset with Mordechai, who does not bow down to him, and therefore does the logical thing and says, well, not only am I going to kill you, Mordechai, I'm going to kill the entire Jewish people. Okay, so he convinces Achashverosh to send out a decree to kill man, women, and child on the 13th of Adar. And that's it. It was going to be game over. Mordechai gets the news, and he sends the message to Esther. Esther, you got to go in. Esther says, wait a minute, I haven't been called. It's dangerous. I could get killed. In fact, that was the policy. If you weren't called and you entered the king unannounced, you were killed, summarily executed. Game over. Mordechai says, you've got to go in. You've got to do this. Show your sacrifice to the Jewish people. Esther steps up to the plate and goes in. She asks for a strange request. Instead of asking for Achashverosh to save her people, she says, will you and Haman come to a party? Okay, very strange. She, in fact, throws that first party, and Achashverosh says, what's going on? He's getting suspicious. Turns out, she says, I'll tell you what I want tomorrow at the next party when you and Haman come. That night, just so happens, Achashverosh can't sleep. He pulls out the records and the chronicles of his kingship and finds that Mordechai had, in fact, saved his life, and he didn't know it. He rewards Mordechai by having Haman ride him on a horse around town, saying, this is a great guy, exactly what I'll do to someone who the king wants to honor. At that very moment, though, Haman was coming in to ask Achashverosh to kill Mordechai. The timing was impeccable. Turns out then, at the second party, Esther outs Haman as the evil bad guy and is killed. Mordechai then becomes second in command and allows and gets Achashverosh to agree to allow the Jewish people to defend themselves. The Jewish people defend themselves in battle against our enemies, and the holiday of Purim was created. Okay? A couple of themes in the holiday are absolutely fascinating. One is the turnaround. Venahafachu. Everything that seems one way is flipped on its head. Haman, who was the one who wanted to destroy the Jewish people, turns out he himself was destroyed. In fact, he created a gallows for Mordechai. He was hung on those very same gallows. The day the Jews were supposed to be wiped out was the day that we were victorious, and on and on. There's another major theme of Hashem being hidden, God being hidden. We don't. Purim is not an open, revealed miracle like Passover and the 10 plagues and the splitting of the sea. Passover is really, honestly, God is hiding behind a mask. But guess what? If someone's hiding, they're still right there. They're just hiding behind the mask. And so too, that message is for us in our daily lives. This is why Purim is so relevant for us today, is that God may not break the laws of nature for us to show us that he's present, but he is with us every moment in that hiddenness. That is why we actually wear costumes, because we sort of poke fun at this. God is hiding and we're hiding. Now, why was God hiding for us? The rabbis say that God is like our shadow. He mimics us. We were sleeping from our responsibilities towards God, and therefore God removed himself from us, allowing the decree to happen. So how do we fix that? There was another important part of the decree is that the Jewish people were not united. We were mufuzar mufurad beina amim. We were scattered and divided among the nations. That's what Haman said about us. So now going into the practical things, we're going to see how the 4 commandments of the day really are the fixing of the problem. The first one is Megillah, reading of the Megillah. Tonight, the night of Purim, we read it, and also the morning, the next day, we read the story of the Megillah, and we see God's hidden hand in history. The second mitzvah is called Matanos LeEvyonim, gifts to the poor. What greater way to create unity among the Jewish people is for the haves to share with the have-nots. Practically speaking, it is to give 1 meal to 2 poor people. So if 1 meal is about $5, then the minimum is about $10 to give. However, even more is encouraged. 20 or even more is quite spectacular and wonderful. The third mitzvah is called Mishloach Manos. This is any Jew of any economic status to any other Jew, and it is 2 different types of food to another Jew, and it's really a time of unity among the Jewish people, and it's quite spectacular. If you live in a Jewish community, you know what I'm talking about, seeing all the minivans rushing around, delivering goodwill and cheer to your fellow Jews. It's very inspiring and creates a tremendous amount of Jewish unity. And finally, the amazing one is the meal, the Purim meal, where we sit down late afternoon towards the end of Purim, and we sit and enjoy a meal with family, friends, drinking. There is a concept to drink a little more. Some people actually do get drunk. You don't have to drink if you don't want to. And the point is that we are celebrating the fact that Hashem kept us alive. We survived from the Hamans of the past, and Hashem is still with us, unfortunately, with the rise of many Hamans now with us today. Okay? So enjoy Purim. It is not a minor holiday. It's not just a little Halloween or a costume party. It's a time where we feel Hashem, God's love for us as the Jewish people, and that we should carry that love to our fellow Jews and to Hashem himself as we have an amazing and wonderful Purim. Happy Purim, everyone.